Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and today's show is going to be very special. When I say very special, there is something that excites us, and that is our will to move forward. Individually, if we are motivated enough and we are clear about how to go and achieve our objective, we are happy. But many times it is important that we have certain groups where there is someone who understands how to take everyone along together and move towards the chosen direction or achieve the target, call it, or the goal. So that is what we term as leadership skill. And someone who is joining me, he himself is a leader. He has studied thoroughly the skills of management. Uh, After lots and lots of experience of being in an important position, he also did his MBA. And now, here I have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Rakesh Sharma ji. So he is also leading as secretary this Hindu Physicians International. But let's jump in with the basic definition of leader. Who do you call or consider a leader, Dr. Rakesh?
So, to be very precise, anyone who has followers is a leader. And as we all know, since our civilization started, people have looked for a leader. Someone became a leader, and others became followers. So it's nothing new. In ancient times, civilization has made leaders look for leaders, and as far as you can go back, even in Bhagavad Gita, which is part of Mahabharat, uh, Lord Krishna gives whatever talk to Arjun, and you have a leadership sentence even by Krishna. And so leadership is nothing new thing. Yes, in the last 100 years or so, it has emerged as one of the uh, important commodities. So leadership these days is a hot topic. You can find a lot of experts giving lectures or talks on leadership. People have been looking for leaders. In fact, a lot of corporations spend a lot of time and energy to find good leaders to lead them. So, if I have to quote uh, Lord Krishna in Mahabharata, uh, Krishna tells Arjun that leadership is not just about authority and power, but it is also about being self awareness, discipline, and leading with empathy and compassion. So, if you see, if let's say Mahabharata is 3000 BC, so this was 5,000-year-old teaching, which holds good even today, or actually today, this is a great definition of leadership.
Absolutely. So let me, staying with reference of Bhagavad Gita or that celestial song, when someone um is in confusion or lacks the clarity to perform the task, then he himself cannot do it properly and he cannot motivate others. So that conversation brings clarity in the mind of Arjuna, but bringing that to the political orbit as we face in 2024, a lot of countries are going towards poles that includes India, America also. Now, politically speaking, how do you see, does a leader in a political orbit needs different sort of personality traits than the one in the business orbit?
That's right. There are different kinds of leaders or leadership qualities that you need for whether it's a business or politics or even in the hospital or at home or non-profit organization. So there are different skills, but one common factor that unites all the leaders in all these different roles is that a leader is someone who has followers, and then he kinds of brings those followers along with him, and with the help of followers they both are raised. So leader as well as followers, they both are raised, and they accomplish a common goal. So this is something which, whether it's we are talking about business, corporations, education, or politics, this common factor is same in all of them. The difference between political leadership and corporate relationship is little different. In political leadership, people look at the politician as someone who will uplift them, their society, their nation, and make their lives better. That is what is expected from a politician. Yes, if you also want to add one more thing, what people are expecting a politician to do is be ethical. So that's political leadership. In business leadership, not everyone is affected by a CEO of Hewlett Packard or CEO of Amazon. So their expectations are slightly different, where you expect a CEO to increase the business and also give comfort to people who work in that business. So all the employees look upon CEO or the leader as someone who will do good for the company. At the same time, they are happy to work in that business.
Yeah. So let me interrupt here you to understand a little bit about how one gets followers. And you said that is an important ingredient as far as when you term refer to anybody as leader, definitely he needs to have followers. So in the corporate world, if you are appointed on XYZ position, then you have certain followers or following existing in terms of the people who are employed, etc. So coming back to the general side of what makes a leader act like a magnet for followers to look up to him. And let's take some general political example here. Currently, I mean, the whole world is talking talking about Prime Minister of India. So even if we don't talk politics, the what is it that you think he brings to the table, which so makes so many people look up to him?
Yes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been in the leading position in political world for the last few years. People look towards him for leadership role, which he is doing in an excellent way. Uh, what people are expecting from PM Modi is that he will uplift them, their social values, their economical values, their national pride, and that also will bring the position of the country up and up. That's what is expected out of Prime Minister Modi, and uh, and I think he's fulfilling that role very well. So, and if you look at all the politicians of the world, not everyone enjoys the same kind of support that Prime Minister Modi is enjoying from people of or citizens of India. Other nations, uh, some of them may have a good leader, but some other nations have bad leader, and that's why you see chaos or some kind of fighting in those nations. Example being neighbor of India, Pakistan, and also in Afghanistan, you have problems. You may have a couple of good European leaders like. Uh, President of France enjoys, I think, good following in his nation, and you might expect Rishi Sunak uh,
Yeah.
have good following in UK.
Yeah. So now we talk about some of the characteristics that makes a leader a good leader. And from that point of view, one clarity of vision or having a compelling vision with which he can or she can influence others to look up to that goal as a worthy goal to pursue collectively. Uh, I think uh, assuming that you agree with this, I have the question is how that is articulated and conveyed, which means the communication skill of a leader. How significant that is, and with some examples.
Absolutely. There are 4 or 5 things that they have found which you can detect in all the good leaders. And 4 or 5, I think, traits or things that they have found in survey. One of them is intelligence. Secondly is commitment. And third one is discipline. All the leaders have to be very disciplined. And fourth one that they have found is person who can be trusted. So these 4 things, along with the last one, where a leader has a vision and his followers can understand that very well. So examples are, if you look at let's say Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a leader, not just only in automobile industry, but he is also uh, is a leader in SpaceX, which is a satellite launcher company he has created, and of course now Twitter that he recently bought and changed the name to X. So people look at Elon Musk that he is going to be fair. After he bought Twitter, he restored a lot of people who were kind of deleted by Twitter. So his expectations of people from Elon Musk is that he will have everyone an opportunity to express their views on Twitter, and I think he did a good job of that. So that's like in the business world, and same thing if you look at um, uh, other big corporations where you look at their stock value, all the followers of those leaders are big time investors or financial gurus. They have to trust that person because it's a lot of money that is being invested in those stocks, uh, is money that belongs to either individuals or other corporations or unions. So they trust that person, single person, and if he performs very well, then he will enjoy the fruits of that investment. So and in the same way, you also have leaders in the army. A lot of soldiers are ready to fight in a war just because they are influenced by the leader for whatever reason. And if leader says let's go and invade some country or defend our own nation, all these soldiers, they are ready to die just at the command of the leader, which we have seen example being Patton, who fought in World War II, and even Winston Churchill had good leadership qualities. Uh, and I don't want to name Stalin because he had done a lot of bad things later on, so I won't call him a good leader. But in different worlds, you will see that, and same thing happens in medical profession. Um, People trust doctors or the doctor that he's treating him or her because they view that doctor as someone being excellent in his or her field, and they are ready to obey all the orders.
Yeah. So, Dr. Whether it is a family institution, a social organization, business organization, or political organization, if the leader has the vision and he is in a position to command enough of respect from followers that they would follow as per his advice, instruction, guidance, whatever you say, then there is a sense of enthusiasm and joy, and people love performing. So performance is directly related to the way a leader is perceived by whether it's a political party or whatever. If If I say that, I hope you would agree with me. And assuming that you agree with me, my question starts from, sometimes you feel the way a leader is conveying his vision, there is lack of courage in the way it trickles down to common folk. So, which you, as you earlier mentioned about commitment, and on that front, if you look at the political leadership, and especially we took the example of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and we go further back in India's history, and whichever way Mahatma Gandhi ji is perceived, and there are different views that we come across through social media and some other researchers. But if you just look at his style of leadership, Dr. Sharma, whether you agree in principle with him or not, he mobilized Indian masses existing at that time in such a great manner. So there was something which he figured out, which resonated with people at large. Your comments on that?
Absolutely. I think Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was a great leader in 20th century, and he had this charismatic personality where millions of Indians followed him. And if he said, let's go on strike, they all did. uh, Britishers were kind of scared of him. In the end, whether some of his decisions were right or wrong is not the topic of our discussion today.
Correct, correct.
A lot of us may not agree with what Gandhiji did in the last few years, but yes, he was a great leader, and so was there was another great leader India had, Subhash Chandra Bose,
Yes,
who created an army for independence of India, and people blindly followed him because they saw something in him which would benefit the nation. The whole leadership is that people who follow you must feel that they and the society will benefit by the actions of the leader. And that's what all leadership
yes.
is all about.
Yeah. So, if I may bring another dimension which also relates to Mahatma Gandhi as well as to current Prime Minister, or for that matter, for many reasons, that is, they come up with some plan of action which can be followed by others, and they infuse it with their own commitment. So, whether you, in Gandhiji's case, you look at Dandi March or that Namak Satyagraha and all those things. And in the case of current Prime Minister Modi, coming up with ideas where he encourages people to bring uh, soil from all these places, and in place of Rajpath, when the Kartavya Path is made. And so there is, the point that I'm trying to make is, there is emotional appeal, and how that appeal would help in attaining the objective is clear in the mind of the leader. So there is a creative uh, thinking that I would say is a part of a good leader. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, sure. There's a term in leadership called emotional intelligence. This term has been coined only in the last, I think, 20 years or so, where, of course, a leader has to be intelligent, just as the term says, and number two, emotional. Emotional means must understand the emotions of the followers.
Yes.
He himself doesn't have to be emotional, cry or laugh, but he must know what are the emotions of the followers. So emotional intelligence is a term which a good leader must possess. And so what leaders have to do is they have to see what public or followers are looking for. So those days are gone. In the early 1900s, if you had asked me what is the definition of leadership, it was actually nothing but domination. Means a leader was dominating his followers, and they were asked to obey him and be loyal to him, and that's where it ended. But then in late 1930s, this definition of dominance disappeared. They said no, leader cannot be dominant, leader has to influence his followers. So from domination, it changed to influencing the followers. Then in 1970s, it changed to not just influencing the person, but influencing a group or organization so that they all work together to achieve a common goal. So with the time, leadership qualities and expectations have changed. So same thing, and now in 21st century, we are expecting other things.
So 21st century, and we just have few minutes, but I want to change the ground to the role which technology is playing in terms of the way leaders relate to followers. And many times it is uh, multimedia or the creative artwork which is being used nowadays to build the profile or project the leader in a larger than life manner, taking the tools of filmmaking, etc., through social media that we have seen now and then. And so, how that is playing out in terms of the substantial leadership, because sometimes people feel disillusioned when they see the kind of trust that they have put in XYZ leader, and he's failing to live up to those expectations which he aroused when he was towards getting to the position of power.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that, that the leader fails. In fact, good leader is showing leadership qualities, making decisions. Sometimes your decisions are going to be wrong, but leader must accept if results are bad, he should not pinpoint someone else. Don't make someone else a scapegoat for bad results. Own it. Say, yes, I'm the one who said, let's do ABC, and the results are bad or not up to everybody's expectations, and that is my fault, my mistake, my shortcoming, and I own the result. People will love that kind of a leader who does not pass bad results to others and take all the good outcomes and takes all the good credits, but anything bad happens, blame someone else. So people don't like that. Um, so before before your next question, I just want to mention something about good leaders. Uh, Leadership qualities are when we do something good for the society. It means we want to uplift for the benefit of the society. And this is what has been happening. But something new has been added, which is a leader must hold on to principles and ethics. And in corporate world, these things are sometimes missing, but people are really looking for leaders who also have ethical values and not just good results by any means.
Wonderful. I appreciate that. Just we are running out of time. So, quick question: leaders are born, or leadership skills can be developed?
Yes. So a lot of surveys and studies have been done, and leaders are not born, and leaders are made actually. When we say made, they are not made in a month or in a year. They are prepared, they have to learn, they have to be given some kind of coaching, and they learn from their own experience. So there are certain traits that you will find in leaders, but even if someone has all those traits, may not be a leader. So, yes, in short, no one is born a leader, leaders are made.
Wonderful. And while I take this liberty of agreeing and disagreeing partly, I think leaders can be developed, yet that person who becomes a leader should be willing to become a leader. So that part is born, and that is innate in some people more, some people less. So probably you will agree somewhere we can have at least that part, because the passion with which someone would pursue to learn all these traits and would be willing to sacrifice and would be willing to put himself online would be different from some people. May just feel like staying in a studio, maybe doing some painting, etc. So keeping that side aside, in general, what Dr. Sharma says, leadership skill can be developed, and I think each one of us need to be a leader in whichever field that we are, to some or the greater extent. But I appreciate this stimulating conversation, and I also appreciate your leadership for the community through different organizations also. With lots of good wishes, Dr. Sharma, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vyas, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.